Come on, buddy.
What's up, caped keyboard crusaders, cinema scholars, and Joker fanboys who think quoting, "Why so serious?" at Olive Garden makes you the second coming of Nietzsche. Buckle up your utility belts and make sure your parents are still alive, because today we're dissecting The Dark Knight, the movie that taught millennials more about chaos theory and the importance of dental hygiene for clowns than any public school curriculum ever attempted. So stick around to find out whether Christopher Nolan's gritty fever dream actually deserves its throne, or if the woke Hollywood DEI propaganda machine just shit out some really expensive cosplay with a philosophy degree. This is the one where Christopher Nolan crams so much gritty realism onto the screen that I accidentally mistook it for security footage from a particularly violent CVS robbery. Honestly, it's just 2.5 hours of a man in a tactical bat furry costume fighting a guy who looks like Hot Topic's regional manager had a nervous breakdown in the makeup aisle. The mainstream woke critic narrative, greatest superhero movie ever made. Wrong. It's just Heat with cosplay and a gravel-voiced protagonist so unintelligible you'd think Christian Bale swallowed a cement mixer. Forget coherent dialogue. This is basically an ASMR wet dream for chain smokers who collect vintage Batman comics in their mom's basement. Now, before Gotham's parade of rabid incels storms my comments section like Arkham Asylum just announced a Black Friday sale, remember, this highly qualified film critic right here once watched Batman Forever 5 times in a row without anesthesia or popcorn. So trust the bat signal. Or don't. It's just going to summon more dudes who think Wayne Enterprises stock tips belong on Reddit investment forums. Let's start with Christian Bale, playing a billionaire who fights crime by speaking like he has bronchitis and a mouthful of gravel. Bruce Wayne's actual superpower? Infinite money and the ability to deliver motivational TED Talks while cosplaying as tactical Dracula. Every time he growls, "I'm Batman," somewhere in Brooklyn, a pit bull gets adopted by a hipster who thinks owning dangerous pets is a personality trait. Batman himself? Not a hero. He's basically Elon Musk with worse PR, if such a thing is even possible, but also with hair and muscles and like half a teaspoon of charisma and common sense, basic human decency, and a capacity for introspection. Okay, so he literally has nothing in common with Elon Musk aside from being a rich asshole. Anyway, where the fuck was I? Oh yeah, rich dude with gadgets beating up the mentally ill instead of, I don't know, paying a respectable portion of his enormous wealth in taxes? Gotham doesn't need Batman. It needs universal health care and a functioning social services department. But no, let's cheer for a billionaire in Kevlar who's spending Wayne Enterprises' entire R&D budget on armored tank cars that definitely violate 17 EPA regulations. Real inspiring. This Batman plays by his own rules, which mostly means he blows things up with sonar technology, not for surveillance, just to flex on Verizon's data mining operation. I mean, this guy has a Batmobile that looks like it could drive right on through a nuclear blast, yet the brakes are apparently powered by wishful thinking. Is this The Dark Knight or Batman and the Joker Gotham Drift? The vehicle's carbon footprint alone probably accounts for at least half of Gotham's climate crisis. And let's talk about the voice. Christian Bale sounds like he's permanently auditioning for a throat lozenge commercial. "I'm Batman" sounds more like, "I need medical attention." Kids watching this movie probably think Batman's superpower is the ability to order a Happy Meal at the drive-thru and have them throw in free tea with honey for his throat. Then there's Heath Ledger's Joker. Woke Hollywood's official excuse to sell purple suits and chaos as a legitimate lifestyle brand on Etsy. Mainstream fake news critics call him chaotic brilliance. I call bullshit. This guy is a philosophy major dropout who started a face paint tutorial channel while lecturing subway strangers about anarchy and the meaninglessness of existence. He's really just a cautionary tale about avoiding college campuses, aka the liberal elite communist indoctrination grounds. Why does society worship this character? Well, because subtlety died somewhere around the second Marvel movie, and now we think a guy in clown makeup spouting freshman year nihilism is peak intellectual cinema. If you think this performance made clown aesthetics dangerous, wait until you see the average Tuesday at any major cosmetics store. His master plan? Light a pile of money on fire. Bro, have you heard of inflation? Thanks a lot, Biden. Try paying rent in any major city before you torch $1 billion like some drunken YouTuber doing a 24-hour homeless challenge for views. The Joker's economic philosophy makes about as much sense as slapping tariffs on every foreign country except Russia and calling it a day. Every single line became a quotable meme. Why so serious? Well, probably because none of us have dental insurance, our student loans have student loans, and our city keeps getting blown up by this theatrical man-child with a permanent marker obsession. His grand plan for chaos, traffic violations, and elaborate social experiments that would make a first-year psychology student roll their eyes so hard they'd detach their retinas. The Joker's agent of chaos routine is really just the world's most expensive temper tantrum. He's like that one friend who thinks being random is a personality trait, except he has access to explosives and a makeup budget that rivals most small theater productions. Gary Oldman plays Commissioner Gordon like he's perpetually one disappointed sigh away from quitting the force and becoming a substitute teacher at a community college. He's the only cop in Gotham not on some villain's payroll, which honestly makes him either incredibly brave or spectacularly naive about his pension plan. Then there's Harvey Dent, whose chin is far too heroic for his own face. District attorneys like this don't exist in real life. They're too busy making threatening TikToks about local school board meetings. He goes from white knight DA to coin-flipping murder hobo in approximately 10 minutes of screen time. His face gets barbecued, and suddenly he's auditioning for America's Got Scars. And his big criminal mastermind gimmick? Making life or death decisions based on coin flips. Truly revolutionary. This is the criminal genius Gotham deserves. A man who outsourced his decision-making process to pocket change. By the final act, he looks like a Halloween mask that spent quality time in a microwave set to revenge setting. The so-called profound themes? Buckle up for this philosophical roller coaster. Mainstream super woke idiot critics claim it's about morality, chaos, and the thin line between hero and villain. Wrong, bozos. Actually, it's a masterclass in how not to run a municipal government. Gotham spends the entire movie depending on a cosplaying trust fund baby and a dude who looks like he lost a bar fight with a lighter and a can of hairspray. Public transportation might as well not even exist. Police funding apparently spent entirely on premium fuel for Batman's custom vehicles. Infrastructure explodes every 12 minutes like clockwork. Honestly, the biggest villain in this movie is urban planning, or the complete lack thereof. Every few scenes, Nolan shoves existential questions down your throat like a carnival barker convinced you can fit the whole foot-long corn dog in a single bite. Is Batman the hero we deserve? Sure, if what we deserve is 2.5 hours of characters mumbling philosophical angst in voices made entirely of expired cigar smoke. What profound life lesson are we supposed to extract? Something about good versus evil? Order versus chaos? The real takeaway is wear a mask because Batman's doing it, invest in Kevlar, and maybe you too can get your own billion-dollar infrastructure budget for vigilante activities. Now, let's discuss Nolan's supposed cinematic genius. Translation: he discovered how to shoot half the movie so dark that you can't tell if Batman's fighting criminals or just shadowboxing in a pitch-black alleyway. That iconic IMAX shot of Batman standing on a skyscraper? Congratulations, you reinvented a Windows XP desktop wallpaper with a bigger budget. What an achievement. Everything is washed in so much blue and concrete gray that you'd think Crayola sponsored the apocalypse. The action sequences are edited like someone's film school nephew discovered the fast forward button and decided it was the height of artistic expression. The sound design deserves its own roast. Every time Bale opens his mouth, it's like the Cookie Monster decided to gargle gravel. The Joker delivers philosophy lectures like he's on his 4th edible of the day. The only clear audio in the entire film comes from Michael Caine's disappointed sighs, which honestly should have earned him a Best Supporting Actor nomination. And Hans Zimmer's score? It's basically followed by 6 solid minutes of, I accidentally left my synthesizer in a blender. Don't try to hum along. Just let your dental fillings vibrate in harmony. By the film's conclusion, Batman decides to take the blame for Harvey's murder spree because narrative convenience? That's not noble self-sacrifice. That's corporate damage control with a cape. Imagine if one billionaire burned down a school and another billionaire said, don't worry bro, I'll take the fall. That's essentially the logic we're working with here. Batman becomes Gotham's scapegoat, not because it makes moral sense, but because the script needed a dramatic ending that would set up the next movie. It's like watching a very expensive game of political hot potato, except everyone's wearing costumes and speaking in riddles. So after all that, what's the final score on this piece of shit? I'll give it a 3 out of 10. This isn't groundbreaking cinema, it's a hot topic clearance sale filmed in Chicago with delusions of grandeur. Save your hero worship for people who actually contribute to society. Like the critical drinker. Who else could possibly take up the mantle of constantly reminding us how woke everything is, or how much Hollywood hates straight white men, while somehow having straight white men as the protagonist of the vast majority of movies? Or how terrible he is at legitimate film analysis. Anyway, The Dark Knight isn't the masterpiece everyone pretends it is. It's just really expensive therapy for people who think wearing all black is a sufficient personality trait. Next week, I'll be taking a closer look at Inception, or as I prefer to call it, the world's most expensive sleep aid since mandatory corporate training videos. Don't forget to comment with your own Batman hot takes, subscribe for more cinematic reality checks, and maybe start a GoFundMe for Gotham's desperately underfunded public services. They clearly need it more than Batman needs another vehicle upgrade. Until then, stay grim, stay gritty, and remember, if anyone in clown makeup starts offering you career advice, maybe just update your LinkedIn profile instead.